ready for two wild guys throwing out spicy ideals on fantasy football. Welcome back to the Dynasty Football Maniac. Trust at your own risk.
So we've covered all the divisions so far in the NFL through our little off season, and we finally landed on the NFC North. And we got the Chicago Bears, Detroit Lions, Green Bay Packers, and Minnesota Vikings. Kind of impressed with what I've seen with the Bears in preseason so far, but I chalk up preseason as a warm up game and not really what's going to happen during the season. I've seen teams go undefeated in the preseason and literally just like bust during the regular season.
Yeah, and they've also seen where they have not won a preseason game whatsoever, and they actually make a run into the playoffs.
That's true too. So I mean, it goes either way. The Browns, which ain't part of the North, but I just like to talk about the Browns because it's so exciting there with all them quarterbacks, and they're adding more to the room.
Hey,
Uh,
I get it. Let's have 7 of them while we're at it.
yeah, we had Huntley because everybody else is getting hurt, and Saunders got pulled. He looked a little butt hurt, but it's part of football. I mean, he has to go in and throw in the players and get them all warmed up and get them to where he wants them. And they went undefeated, so that tells me they're going to probably lose every game this season. Uh, it's probably not going to be that bad because Joe Flacco ain't that bad. Um,
It'd be really great for fantasy, at least.
yeah.
And that's what really matters to us.
So let's just start with the Chicago Bears, the great Bears, the Bears.
God
Um,
knows.
the Bears. There we go. Said it right that time. All right.
Oh, there you go.
The Bears. All right. So the Bears did have someone interesting that played a little bit. Um, Looking for his name on the chart. No, there he is, Walker. Jada Walker. The was undrafted. He made some pretty good catches. Kind of pulled him out. I mean, he was there, but at the end of the day, he's behind Roma Tuesday, and Roma Tuesday is really good. So I don't see them jumping up and throwing Walker in there. I do see Walker maybe slide it into like the but then you got Luther Burden the third down there, and then either way, it could happen. I don't think he's gonna take DJ or Roma Tuesday's job any day. At the end of the day, Caleb looked pretty good during the preseason at the times he did play. Tyson Badgett. I mean, he looked good.
Yep.
Roscoe Johnson's hurt, so we didn't really see much of him.
Tyler
Uh,
actually just signed a 2-year extension with the Bears.
oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So, that's what they think about. They really have a lot of respect for him. So that basically just tells me he's basically going to be Caleb Williams' backup.
Oh, he did a good job backing up Justin Fields too. So I mean, at the end of the day, the guy's a good quarterback. If anything, he's better than some of the starters we've seen out there. I mean,
I mean, I can agree with that.
I get really excited about him because he was an undrafted quarterback too. So a lot of potential there. So looking down defense, pretty much the same. They brought in a few players. I really don't think Bears are going to do much. I think they're going to be always one step out and one step ahead. But on a fantasy outlook, there's a lot of potential here. And where I say there's potential, I honestly believe Caleb Williams might have a better season this year. And I think he could probably finish in the top 10 quarterbacks. And with that being said, I think DJ
Okay.
Moore and Rome Medusa are going to benefit from it. I don't think Swift is going to be a high running back. He never has been. He'll be your top 20 running back, maybe top 25 if he breaks the 30s. But at the end of the day, I'd be looking at the two wide receivers. So they would be good draft picks. If you're drafting, I think the only one that would probably, if it's quarterback flex, you'd want to definitely draft Caleb Williams within the first round, maybe second round. Uh DJ Moore, Rome Tuesday, probably second round in a fantasy draft. What you say? I don't see him going first round.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one.
And then your big sleeper on there, I'd say that Walker kid. I don't know if they can let him play, he might be. Um, what shocked me the most was Colston Loveland winning the starting job over Comet. I think Comet's done a really good job the last couple years, especially with between Justin Fields and Caleb. I still think I'm gonna have to see how all that plans out. I mean, I know Colston Loveland and they're riding him hard. Yes, he was really good at Michigan as a receiving tight end. I just see I don't know if he's as good as Cole Clement. I mean, but they think he is. So that, I mean, who am I to say? So
I mean,
we'll have to see
only
how.
only time will tell.
Yeah, time will tell on this one, guys. I'd be kind of cautious on what tight end you take for the Bears. I would kind of see what happens. They definitely
Okay.
wouldn't be up in my top pick. And defensive wise, I'd definitely be picking up a TJ Edwards or Jaquan Brisker, even Kevin Bird. Um, that would probably be my top picks for defense. And they do have my favorite punt returner as a full punt returner, came from Baltimore. He had some quiet seasons. The last 2 seasons have been pretty quiet for Devon Duvernay, but he hasn't had the opportunity to do punt return or kick returns or any kind of receiving. Now he has an opportunity again. I hope to see it. I hope to see him going back up there. I know people in our league used to complain that he scored just as good as some of the other receivers we had, like Justin Jefferson at sometimes, but it just depends if he's the actual punt returner. And they picked him up from Jacksonville, so
Hmm.
Jacksonville didn't really utilize him as a punt returner or kick returner, so we didn't see him much when he was down there. But he was big when he was at Baltimore.
Hmm. All right. So I'm gonna give you my takes on it real quick.
All right.
I agree with a lot of things that you said. I really thought it was kind of spicy when it actually kind of caught me off guard when you said Kelly Williams could be a top 10 fantasy quarterback at the end of the year. That one caught me off by surprise. I wasn't expecting to hear that from you. But hey, I mean, if it goes the way that I think and that I think it could go, by the way they built up this team, I think that's a good possibility. But so I will go ahead. I'm excited for the Bears too. I'm really interested to see how they turn out. I'm really interested to see if Callie Williams can step up to the next level. And I know you're worried about Colston Loveland, but honestly, you could actually, if you really wanted to take a chance on Colston Loveland, you still have an option to get Cole Kmet later on in the draft. Like there's like a big gap between them two, so you could actually, if you really wanted to take a chance, but you were like kind of scared, I would grab. I don't recommend. It depends on your league settings and stuff, but um, I would grab at least 2 or 3 tight ends, like one from another team, but I would have Cole Kmet, just in case if the Coastal Loveland thing doesn't work out. But I have a good feeling it is going to work out. I was just surprised. I figured they would at least let Cole Kmet start, and then if he does, wind up out battling him during the season, then so be it. But I guess he must have out battled him during training camp.
Well, if you
But
look at a lot of their playbook, they got two tight ends in there a lot. So you're really putting
all
two
right,
star players in there that could receive either way. But it depends on where they line up because one of them might line up where he can't be an eligible receiver and he's a blocker. And Cole
but
Kmet's a good blocker.
what worries me is there's so many mouths to feed in this offense. Because
I agree.
You got Roman Tuesday, you got DJ Moore, you got Luther Burden, and then you got the Walker kid, you got and Illuminated, who they got from Washington. There's a lot of mouths to feed, so it's going to be interesting to see. If
And
anything, go ahead.
and one thing I want to point out to everybody, everybody's like, well, will Caleb be running for his life? Could be, but could not be. And why I say could not be is due to the fact they went out and got them 3 additional offensive people to bring
That
in from other teams that are decent. I mean, they brought in a left guard, they brought in a center, they brought in a right guard, and then
Well,
they draft it on top of that. So,
what I was going to bring up next was the offensive line. I think it's upgraded
oh
from
God, yeah, it's upgraded a lot.
I think it's upgraded from what it was last year. So, well, that being said, and DeAndre Swift is he's one of those values you could get later in the rounds if you're one of those that like you go heavy on the wide receivers in the beginning of the rounds. He's one of those that you could get. I think he still has value for where he's going. So, but and the defense for the most part has usually been good. I know they've had a couple of years where they were like they kind of fell off the wagon a little bit, but I think the defense is really good. I think it's going to be really good this year as well. So that's the reason why I'm excited for this. Now I'm actually give you one player on offense, and I've been battling out with a lot of this, and I'm actually going to go with we can talk about the receiving weapons, but I'm actually going to go safe. I'm going to go with DeAndre Swift, just because no matter what, no matter how many wide receivers there are out there and all that, DeAndre Swift is still going to run with the ball, and he's also going to be a check down target for Caleb Williams as well. So that's a higher chance for DeAndre Swift to gain fantasy points. Now, this offense, I've been I've been keeping an eye on him a little bit. I've seen him in preseason a little bit. Rashawn Johnson is hurt, so I think everyone should. I know he's in the seventh round, but everybody needs to keep an eye on Kyle Monagaya, the running back they got in the round 7 in the draft. He actually has looked pretty good in the preseason, and Rashawn Johnson being out, he's going to be backing up DeAndre Swift. So that is somebody that y'all need to keep an eye out for. Now, defense, I'm going to have to go with TJ Edwards because he has been consistent ever since he came from the Philadelphia. Ever since he became a Bear, he has been their most consistent player in fantasy. So I am going to go with TJ Edwards.
All right, that's pretty good summary for the Bears. I'm gonna let you pick the next team. Which one do you want to talk about out of the next three?
All right, let's go. Let's go to. I feel like this is another interesting one, and this has also been a hot topic because of the quarterback. So I think we're going to go down. We're going to go up to Minnesota. Now, this is the first year we actually are going to see JJ McCarthy play, and Sam Darnold for the most part has actually did pretty well. And honestly, they have they had Justin Jefferson, and they have Jordan Addison, and they had a bunch of good players on offense and stuff. But I really think the coach really elevated that offense as well, because honestly, you probably felt the same way. Whenever they had to put Sam Darnold as a starter, I was like, "Oh Lord!" I was like, "I don't know if this is going to end well or not." But surprisingly, it did. That defense is firing on all cylinders, and then the offense was just clicking as well. They kind of choked in the playoff game, but uh, that can always be made up. Now, this is going to be interesting because this JJ McCarthy's actual rookie year, since he had that significant injury last year. I mean, in the preseason, from what we kind of saw, I mean, we just saw a little bit. I've honestly, I need to see more to say that he's going to be like, their franchise guy. I think there's a possibility he can be the franchise guy, but I just need to see it. because we didn't see any last year. And plus, it's going to be interesting on how they handle this because Justin Jefferson has been battling a hamstring injury all through training camp. And typically, when players deal with a training camp soft tissue injury, it kind of lags on and off throughout the years. I've actually went back and looked up some players that they were battling some soft tissues injuries in the training camp, and yeah, it lingered. It like they were fine a couple of weeks, and all of a sudden they tweaked it. Then they try to get back on the field. They would be good for a little bit, and then they tweaked it again. So that's something to keep an eye on. But Justin Jefferson's a different player than most players are. But Jordan Addison, we're not gonna have him for the first 3 games. So, and I'm looking at this depth chart on our lads, and to be quite honest with you, I've only heard of two, uh, like Jalen Naylor, but he looks like he's hurt. He's been nicked up. They did draft Taya Felton, so he's definitely going to get a starting spot while Jordan Addison is out. I've, you know, I think they're probably going to really rely on the run game right now until they get their Jordan Addison back, and when JJ McCarthy gets into a rhythm. Um, but their defense is solid. I mean, their defense is really good. I believe their defense is going to be great again. They really like to go blitz heavy. Brian Flores, their defensive coordinator, really loves to go blitz heavy, and it showed last year, and it worked. And I believe they're going to keep putting the aggression on. So, with that being said, you know, um, it's kind of. I'm actually gonna go. I'm actually gonna go with T.J. Hawkinson on the offense because T.J. Hawkinson is going to be J.J. McCarthy's best friend. And I know there's Justin Jefferson out there, and that's usually the typical place that everybody wants to go. But I'm actually going with T.J. Hawkinson, especially for the first half or the first month of the year, because of with everything going on in the offense and so much uncertainty. Defense, I was going back and forth on who because there's a pretty good bit of players you can go with. But I really like Andrew Van Ginkel. He's one of those aggressors that likes to get to the quarterback. He scored a pretty good bit in fantasy last year. He was in the top 5 on this team. So I can see him doing it again this year. So I'm going to go with him for the defense.
All right. So with you saying that, I totally agree with you on the defense. I'm not going to go because I agree. Minnesota's always had a good defense, and out of the defense, that would be who I'd go for is Andrew Van Ginkel.
Right.
So if I'm an IDP for fantasy related for long term, I mean Ty Felton would be a great pickup this year in your rookie draft. He's getting an opportunity to start due to the fact that another player is on suspension for 3 games. But I can tell you what's going to happen. He looked pretty decent. So if, say, he plays good these next 3 games and it's really top notch and Jordan Addison comes back, he's not going to replace Jordan Addison. They're going to put Jordan Addison back in that wide receiver spot. But he could possibly fall down there and replace Jalen Naylor. And that would be a good lineup. Now, we know nobody's going to replace Justin Jefferson unless he gets hurt. And I do agree with you that with this being McCarthy's first year, when in doubt, do little dunk passes. TJ and Aaron Jones is there. Both are capable to pick up them passes. I'm excited about Jordan Mason coming from San Francisco. But until Aaron Jones Sr. gets hurt or something happens, I don't jump on that bandwagon yet because at the end of the day, Aaron Jones still shows up for work. I mean,
my bad. I kind of done jumped on the bandwagon.
I want to jump on the bandwagon, but until he slides on his work, I am
Yeah.
not going to do it because he's one of them running backs that knows how to take care of himself. And yeah, he's dealt with injuries in the past, but he's been able to do it, get back on board, and do his thing. He's a top running back, and yes, he's aging. He's finally starting to get to his later years, but I think it'll be a good training point, uh, a good thing that Jordan Mason's behind him and kind of working with him on that because out of the running back room, they're your two top running backs, and I'm just glad to see T.J. Hawkinson back healthy. Yeah, he has some issues with ball control. I think they worked on it a little bit last year, but he's also dealt with some injuries. But even when he had issues with the fumbles and the drops and all that, at the end of the day, he was one of the top tight ends because when he does do something with the ball, he does something with the ball. It ain't like he's getting just a 2 or 3 yard gain. This man is tough and he's going. Um, so yeah, I'm excited. Like if I'm drafted, it's really tough. I mean, for a safe bet for tight end, yeah, definitely. I'm gonna pick up a T.J. Hawkinson. He's one of my top tight ends I would like to grab, just because he's reliable. We all know Justin Jefferson. If he stays healthy all year, and if there's any kind of connection between, don't even need to be a connection between J.J. McCarthy and him. He just has to touch the ball, and magic will happen. Um, I hope the best for Ty Felton. But I would definitely lean for draft pick wise. My top draft pick on offense would be Justin Jefferson out of the whole team. And that's a safe bet. I know that. I don't think
Right.
J.J. McCarthy will be in the top 10 as a quarterback this year. He'll be good. He'll probably be in the top 15, top 20. Um, I don't think he's going to lose his job this year. We'll see how all that pans out. I definitely would go with Justin Jefferson, and behind him for my top tight end, I would probably be going for T.J. Hawkinson. You got so many good offensive players to draft on here. When you draft Ty Felton and Jordan Addison, draft them towards the end in a redraft, you don't even want to touch Jordan Addison. Jordan Addison is going to be out for 3 games. Leave him on a waiver wire. If someone else wants to pick him up, whoopee. I mean, he ain't that big of a deal. The one you need to be focusing on is Justin Jefferson, T.J. Hawkinson, Aaron Jones, J.J. McCarthy on your offensive side. So the
Right.
next team we're going to talk about, I'm going to leave that team for you. I want to go in and talk about the Lions.
Okay.
I'm going to leave the other team for Austin to deal with. So
Okay.
what do we say about the Lions? The Lions is one step to winning the Super Bowl. That's all you can say about them. They are one step away, and are they going to be able to punch their ticket? They are so close to punching that ticket. Are they going to punch that ticket? I mean, what do you think?
I mean, they have a chance. They definitely have a chance, but they're just missing a couple plays, and
And
their
injuries.
their injuries just killed them, especially on
Yeah.
defense. Injury killed them, so they got to stay healthy in order to even have a shot.
And that's what we're going to look at right now. So the offense looks like it's coming back healthy. Jamison Williams is definitely starting to do his thing.
Oh my god, I
St.
love
Brown
Jameson.
ain't fell off and dropped a step. And they got Tim Patrick, which he's not bad as a wide receiver. I like that they brought back Raymond from Tennessee. Um, Tight end Sam Laporte is healthy. That's a good thing. And then that running back room is probably one of the best running back rooms in the NFL with a dual running back. You got Jamar Gibbs and David Montgomery. Both of them are good running backs to pick up guys. You're not going to lose out on either one of them. They're both playing just so consistently. Um, Out of this, you got tons of draft picks that are well worth picking up. Both of their wide receivers. Um, and when I say wide receivers, I'm talking about St. Brown and Jamison Williams. Either one of them are good wide receivers to pick up. Tight end, Sam Laporta should be your number 1 or number 2 next to Brock on that for that.
I, I would say, I would say behind Brock Bowers and Trey McBride.
Yeah, Brock Bowers, Trey McBride, Sam Laporta. Or I honestly would have Sam Laporta before Trey McBride. Sam Laporta was hurt last
Oh,
year.
I I would say yes, but with with the Cardinals, there's really only two people that they're going to be feeding to, and that's Marvin Harrison and Trey McBride. On the Lions, there's a lot of mouths to feed. You got Jameson
Yeah,
Williams, you got
yeah.
Amon St. Brown, you got
Jamar
Jamari Gibbs.
Gibbs, David
Yep,
Montgomery.
yep. So that's the only reason why I put him as third. Well, actually, I would have put him actually behind George Kittle because have you seen the injuries the 49ers have been going through? They don't
Yeah.
have a receiving core. It's literally just George Kittle.
And hands down, if Aiden Hutchinson stays healthy, he is going to be the best defensive player.
Mm.
I would put all my money on him. Brian Branch ain't bad. I like Brian Branch a lot. So I would rate it Aiden Hutchinson, Brian Branch. Both great pickup. And let's not forget about Jack Campbell. He's done good. Alex, I could just keep naming all these defensive. I just need to pick one. Let me just stick with one. So
Yeah,
my
let's do
best
that.
pick. Oh God, they even got DJ Reader. God. Right now, they only show one injury, Alan McNeil. Their first round pick right behind him, Tyleek Williams, good guy. So I would go with Aiden Hutchinson would be my go to on defense. A little sneak attack for you. Raymond is the punt returner for both kick return and punt returner, and he's the second string wide receiver, which he's going to get very, very, very few times out there because you got Jamison Williams, and as long as he's healthy, he can catch the ball. They're not going to take him off the field. Um, but he's still for the punt returning thing. If you got that bonus, he would be a good pickup. So on the offense, my number one pickup would probably be. I'm gonna have to go with Jamar Gibbs. Just
Yeah, I don't blame you.
that would be Jamar Gibbs, St. Brown. I actually have to put Jamison Williams before Sam Laporta. Sam Laporta would come fourth. David Montgomery would come. Well, actually, yeah, I could put David Montgomery fifth because even though he's a running back, he's sharing so much with Jamar. He would probably land fifth. But you're talking about 5 good pickups without counting the quarterback. And the quarterback ain't really like he's going to go late in the round. Most people ain't even going to grab him right away. I mean, you don't hear Jared Goff going first round. I mean,
No, he'll be later.
if he does, please message me in our on our YouTube channel so I know that he's went. I mean, his average ADP. Let's just look that up real quick. just uh, I had it brought up here. Hold on.
I'm kind of curious myself.
Yeah, because I've never heard of him really going in the first round. I mean, and I might miss something once in a while, but I don't miss that much. So just dynasty rankings, average ADP, not talent, quarterbacks. Oh God, where is he? I gotta find him. Hold on. Oh, okay, so he's a tier 4, average best 15th pick. So early second round on a worst 22nd pick. So pretty much second round, they're saying, right? So,
Basically.
yeah, second round pick. I mean, and that's basically where you see him go. Most quarterbacks, all your top 20 quarterbacks are gone before the second round, third round, at least. He's just a little bit above Bryce Young, but Bryce Young is not a top quarterback right now, so you're not jumping him up. This year could be the change. So yeah, your tier ones are everybody should know your tier ones by now. It should be just common knowledge. It's Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, and there's a debate out there. Actually, I would debate that Joe Burrow needs to be in that group. I mean, it should be. But then again, I don't know. Joe Burrow's a late starter. So, yeah, I could see him falling to tier 2. I guess I'm good with that. But,
Right. He'd be starting in tier 2.
yeah, he'd be starting in tier group. But they got currently, most sites have Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Jaden Daniels. Jaden Daniels came out with probably one of the best rookie seasons. I bragged on C.J. Stroud's rookie season, but it wasn't as good as Jaden Daniels. Jaden
Right.
Daniels had a better thing. And C.J. Stroud's a tier 3. I mean, he's a good quarterback. He's there with Drake May, Caleb Williams, Jordan Love. All them guys are good quarterbacks. Baker Mayfield, way underrated. Way underrated. But that's how most people feel. That's what an average draft position is. But
Right.
so that's where I'm at on that offense. And I have high hopes for the Lions this year, and I think they're going to do well. Um, they do have a lot of IR still. Like their safety, he's hurt. They got a lot of people down there on injured reserves, so it's going to be interesting on how this all pans out. All right, who do you think is the top one?
All right, so I agree with you with most part. The offense is going to be clicking on cylinders again, even though I will say that offense will be a little bit slower due to the fact that their offensive coordinator is different. Ben Johnson went left and is the head coach of the Bears, so I think the offense is going to start off kind of slow, but then they're going to pick up on their footing, and then they're going to go off to the races. So you might see the first few weeks, them, kind of getting in rhythm and, actually learning the playbook a little bit better while in game action. But I'm not too concerned about that because, Dan Campbell is going to make sure that they all learn the new offense and get their crap together pretty quickly. So defense, I'm not worried about defense either. Well, actually, I am a little bit worried. They just got to stay healthy. If the defense can stay healthy, this team can go. I really truly believe this team can go to the Super Bowl. But this defense just got to stay healthy. I mean, if they have all these injuries like they did last year, I mean, then they're just honestly, the offense is going to have to do like they did last year and just keep scoring so much, which it's not bad for us because that's good for fantasy, but in the NFL, that's not good for them. So, um, you said a lot of the things that I would say, so I'm not really going to stay too into it. I just do believe that everybody should keep an eye out on Isaac Tesla. I truly believe he looked really good in the preseason, and I truly do believe that during the season he will outbeat Tim Patrick for that starting spot. So I really do believe it'll be Amal St. Brown, Jameson Williams, and Isaac Tesla as the starter later on through the year as we go on. But on offense, gosh, I know you went with Jamari Gibbs. I'm gonna go with actually no, I'm gonna go with Jamari Gibbs too because he's a running back that can receive the ball and that's very valuable in fantasy. So I'm gonna go with Jamari Gibbs too with you, piggybacking off of you. Defense, oh gosh, there's a lot of players I like, but I'm gonna go with Brian Branch because he's a stud in the safety department. He'll lay the hammer on you pretty hard, and I do believe that. I actually do believe they'll sub him in the linebacking spot as well on some packages as well. So that's going to help him out tremendously when it comes to fantasy as well. So I am going with Brian Branch, and as long as this defense can stay healthy, this team can make it to the Super Bowl. I believe.
I'm totally in agreement with that. So I'm gonna let you start off with the next team since this is one of your like favorite teams, right?
No, well,
I did that
there's
intentionally.
there, yeah, kind of like how the Chiefs are your favorite team. All
Ooh.
yeah.
All right,
So
let's calm down here.
anyways, let's
Anyways,
get let's get to the damn great Green Bay Packers, who have a bunch of receivers. We have no
did you
idea who
say
the hell the
cream?
number
Did you?
one
No, wait,
is.
wait. Did I hear that right? Did you say cream pie Packers?
No.
Oh, okay.
Well, I'm glad you said it though, because anyways, besides the point.
Boy, we're
So
fixing to get slammed by some Packer Nation, ain't we?
well, you know what? They can take that cheese and put it where the sun don't shine.
Ooh,
Uh,
Lily, coming from a Dallas
anyway,
fan.
well, it happens. You have those teams where you just can't stand either,
Oh,
so
I
I don't want to
know.
hear it.
I know. I
Um.
know.
Anyways, um. So we have a team here. We have an offense that we have no idea who the number one receiver is. So I will be honest with you. You might feel differently about this, but there's really not a receiver that I am 100% confident in saying that they're the number one. And
I totally agree with that back room. It's so crazy. It's like all of them are good, but who's the number one? I don't know. Is it going to be
uh,
Matthew Golden, Jaden Reed, Rome Dobbs? It could even be Salvian Williams. It could be Devontae Wicks. It could be Christian Watson when he's healthy. I mean, it's just so wide open in that room.
and and here's the crazy thing. And you know, they say draft position really matters. And it might, but you know, I never really was a big Matthew Golden, believer. So when they chose him to be the wide receiver one, I was like, they really thought he was. Please, they don't think that he's going to be the one, right? Which I could be wrong. I mean, because well, we're doing a lot of predicting right now. That's what we do. And I could be wrong, but it's so hard because the target shares. Romeo Dobbs had a bunch of target shares in some weeks, and Jaden Reed had a bunch of target shares in a couple other weeks. And then Tavian Wicks had a bunch of target shares in some weeks. So it's like I don't know who their C's are. I don't I don't know who's going to be the number one, but I do know who's going to be Jordan Love's favorite target, and that's the tight end and Tucker Craft. So if there's anybody in this receiving core that I believe in, it will be Tucker Craft because he proved it last year. It was supposed to be Luke Musgrave. He was supposed to be the number one tight end uh in this tight end room because they drafted him a whole round earlier before Tucker Craft. But then Luke Musgrave just got hurt just a little bit, and then Tucker Craft just took that opportunity and just ran with it. And he has not relinquished that spot ever since. So, and we all know Josh Jacobs. Josh Jacobs is a very good running back when he's not Fat Thor. So he's not Fat Thor because he's getting paid, and he's really liking it with the Green Bay. So I don't know if I see him doing it exactly like he did last year because Josh Jacobs has a history of being really good one year and then falling off the next year. And he's on and off, on and off, on and off. So my only worry with Josh Jacobs is he had an on year last year, being really good. So is this, if it's the history trending where he is going to be, have an off year again, or is he going to, just erase the history and be consistently good this year like he was? So, and Jordan Love, he's I think I know he just had surgery on his thumb, which is his non-throwing thumb. So, that's I'm not really too concerned about that. But we're gonna see who his favorite target is besides Tucker Craft, because I think it's gonna be Tucker Craft. So that I'm actually going with Tucker Craft in this offense because I'm not gonna play around with these receivers. I can't really dictate who that is, who's gonna get the biggest target share in the receiving room. I'm just not playing it. So I'm gonna go with Tucker Craft. The defense, I think is gonna be better. They took a step last year. I still think they need to make another step into becoming one of them elite defenses, but I think they're in the right direction. So I've been looking around, and I'm actually gonna go with Xavier McKinney on this defense because he's really good. I'm so glad he left the Giants because I don't have to see him twice a year. And so Yeah, I mean the defense. If they could just take that next step, I think this team could be quite solid. So yeah, I'm going with Xavier McKinney for the defense.
All right. So yeah, with that being said, I do like Xavier McKinney a lot. Um, there's a lot of defensive players on there I like. I like Quay Walker. I like Edgerrin Cooper. I even like Keyshawn Nixon. I mean, and a lot of that's because of his punt return
Mm-hmm.
capability, and that helps him out on his scoring, especially him being a starting defensive player.
Right.
So he's high on my radar as someone to pick up, especially if you're in a bonus of punt returners. He'll definitely benefit your team. Even Van Ness is good. I mean, there's a lot of good players on this team, but at the end of the day, I would probably have to go with Xavier McKinney as my top pick for defensive, like point wise. And I also
Right.
agree with what you were saying with Josh Jacobs. I'm not going to argue that. He's an up and down roller coaster. Is he going to be there? Is he going to do his thing? What does surprise me is they do have two great tight ends, but Tucker Kraft gets most of it. But don't ever count out Luke Musgrave. I mean, he's a good backup to pick up, especially in a dynasty. If you could pick up both of them tight ends, it'll help you out because if Tucker Kraft's hurt, Luke's Luke Musgrave is just as good as Tucker Kraft. I mean, it's a tandem right there. It's a pretty good tandem at that. And then that wide receiver room is so wide open. It is so wide open. It's like I could. We had this discussion last year, and it'll be this discussion again this year. Who do we think is going to be wide receiver one? I think this year, I don't know. I don't know if it's Matthew Golden. I'm with you. I don't really know if that's the guy. I mean, I was surprised at that pick too, as crowded as that room is. But then I was also shocked to see Christian Watson hurt and him behind. And I wonder if that's what dictated the layout. Is that going to be the layout? Because if Matt the Golden starts to just choke a little bit, I've seen all them wide receivers come in behind the others, and they're even third string good. They got Hardman. A lot of people don't even remember Nicole Hardman. I mean, he got from Kansas City. He's a good wide receiver. I mean, they got wide receivers and decent wide receivers. So it'd be interesting to see what that happens, how that works out.
Right. Right.
If I was drafting, I'll be honest. None of these guys are going to be drafted by me, at least not until third, fourth round. And in the top one out of all that bunch, I'd grab him in the second or third round would be Josh Jacobs, if he's still there. That's
Yeah.
just because I'll be loading up on running backs and I'll be rolling that dice. But the rest of these guys are safe picks in the third and fourth round. And right behind him, the best wide receiver, everybody's like, well, who would you pick, Ralph, for the best wide receivers out of this group, since you're saying it's such a big room? My first pick out of all them would be Romeo Dobbs, and I would go with him. And my next wide receiver would have to be Jaden Reed. And, it'd be kind of hard for me to go and get that Matthew Golden because I had Devontae Wicks. I've had Christian Watson, and they put up numbers sometimes. So I don't just leave it at two. Them are my top two. So let's go to how we think this is all going to finish out this season. Let me tell you guys, it's going to be a rough ride in the North NFC. A rough ride.
I think they're gonna beat. I think they're just gonna cannibalize each other.
Oh, they are definitely going to cannibalize each other. But at the end of the day, the Lions are going to top it. And right below the Lions is going to be the Vikings.
Okay.
And then right below the Vikings is going to be Green Bay. Oh, I can't even spell Green Bay right. I'm not going to tell you what I put. Green Bay. And right below them is going to be the Bears. And I spelled them wrong too. Oh, wow. I hit either the keyboard is not liking me for the way I'm talking or whatever. So I got the Lions finishing off, the Vikings, the Green Bay, and the Bears, and I only think two of them guys are going to make it to the playoffs, and that'll be the Lions and the Vikings are going to get into the playoffs. So that kind of gives you my whole rundown for the playoffs.
So,
I'm gonna let you do your thing, and then we're gonna do a breakdown of the last couple episodes on who we projected to be in the playoffs, so everybody can
so
take
well, what?
notes.
Well, once again, we agreed on the teams and their order because I had the Lions winning it, and then I had the Vikings because that defense is just too good. Um, I had them going second, and then I had the Packers going third, and then I had the Bears going fourth. But I only had one team, and I had the Lions going because I think the Lions are going to squeak more division wins, and I think the rest of the division, I think they're just going to cannibalize each other to the point where they get kicked out. They barely miss the wild card seeding just by like a couple of games. But yeah, I got the Lions going in the playoffs.
All right. So there you guys got all the divisions and our
Well,
projections for the playoffs and who we think are going to finish out their divisions. And then we gave you like our top hits for fantasy related players. So just to recap the last several episodes we had on this, um, for the AFC side, I had the Bills, Chargers, Denver, Ravens, Texans, Chiefs, and Miami all making it to the playoffs. And Austin had the Bengals, Ravens, Texans, Bills, Chargers, Denver, and the Chiefs making it. And then on the NFC, I had the Lions, Rams, Washington, Tampa, Vikings, Eagles, and Cardinals. And you had Washington, Eagles, Dallas, Cardinals, Tampa, Falcon, and Lions. So that is how we projected the season to turn out for this great year coming up. And I am so excited for it. So to just let you guys, the regular listeners that tune in on a regular basis with us, we do appreciate you guys tuning in. Always hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe. And what do you always say?
make sure you share because sharing is caring.
Karen is Karen. That's right. But before we let you guys go, I wanted to let you guys understand that we're going to have one more weekend release after this week. And then me and Austin will probably start doing like a top five right before the football games start, saying, hey, these are our top five players. This is who we're going to be sitting. We're not going to do the full recap like we did last year. We're just going to kind of go in and say, hey, these are our top five players coming out this week. And this is who we think are sleepers, and this is who you should sit. At least give you guys one or twosies. Be short,
Right.
little, sweet episodes. They'll start releasing. Like I said, we'll have one more weekend release after this of just a special before the season starts and kind of giving you a cap of the first week. Because guess what, guys? Guess what's around the corner? I mean, preseason's finishing up. September the 4th is just right up around the corner. A great matchup is going to happen. Dallas versus Philadelphia. I am pumped. And I'm going to be tuned in. I'm going to be wearing my Eagle shirt. I'm going to be screaming on the top of my lungs. And I know the other one will probably be calm because he is calm. And he'll be watching his Dallas team. Uh,
I
I
will.
don't.
I will say I will not be coming into work that Friday.
Yeah, I might not come in. It depends on how the game turns out. You know me. I call in sick when my team lose. Uh, I'm that guy. My wife's like, "Do I need to call the doctor for you?" I'm gonna be fine.
I'll
I
be
think the
fine.
biggest
Don't
shock,
worry.
the biggest shock is the Friday game being broadcast by YouTube. I was so shocked on that,
Oh yeah.
and I'm like, "Wow." The streaming stuff is becoming such a new thing. Kansas City against Los Angeles Friday on September the 5th, and then the rest of the weekend games are coming up on September the 7th. Remember, bye weeks don't happen until the fourth week. When you guys are drafted, the little number beside their name is their bye week. You would not believe how many times someone asked me that question. What does that number mean? It's the bye week. You can't. It's okay. It's
Yeah.
okay. Not everybody keeps up
Yeah.
with it like I
I
do.
I get it. I've had a lot of people ask me that
What
same
is that? The
question as
rating?
well.
No, that's their bye week. Uh,
Yeah. That's
uh,
what I get that a lot of questions too.
And then one guy asked me, "Well, I didn't see that before." I was like, "Well, because we drafted before they named the weeks off, so when you do sometimes these rookie drafts will happen way before the NFL launches their season or names the teams they're going to be playing, so you don't get the bye week. So when you're drafting blind. Now, I don't ever want to do a redraft prior to the announcement of their schedule because a redraft is important. When you're redrafting, it's different than a dynasty league because you want to have your backup definitely not on the same bye week as your starter. That's
Mm-hmm.
something you would not believe how many people I've seen draft like that. And they'll be like, oh man, both my tight ends are off, but I only have 2 tight ends. What do I do? Well, that's why when you're drafting, you need to pay attention. Same
Yep.
with your wide receivers. You don't want to draft all wide receivers on bye week 7. Guess what? You ain't gonna have
Yep.
no wide receivers.
Yep.
Running back,
I've
same way. Quarterback, same way. Don't ever. You should never have no more than 2 quarterbacks on your team in a redraft, unless it's a redraft flex quarterback league. I've seen guys go out and draft 3 quarterbacks in a non-flex quarterback league. Why? Why? Why would you do that? Maybe it's a strategy, but it's not a very good strategy because at the end of the day, that's still not going to help you. All you just did is make it a little harder for another team that'll probably beat you anyways because you're the guy that drafted 3 quarterbacks. Um,
mm-hmm.
so it's very smart to kind of pay attention to their bye weeks, understand when they're off, and kind of go that route. I know we're going to get more back into the. I know we still get a lot of turnout for our rating shows when we do our top tiers, and we kind of went off because we wanted to do a little filler during the summer. We kind of covered just each division. And we're kind of just building something. Next year we might do it the same way, but just add a little bit more twist to it. Um, I think the season we've already got a game plan of just naming off what we think is the top 5 players and our sleepers and our sits, and just maybe like something really exciting has to happen, like Saunders gets a starting job, then we'll have a party about it. Or Caleb Williams throws over 400 yards and he's going to be in the playoffs. That'd be a whole different new world that we probably won't see much of. Tennessee wins more than 3 games in a row. Could happen this year. Uh, Pittsburgh Jets, all that crazy stuff. I mean, a lot of wild stuff. Aaron Rodgers, how many games does he play before? Ooh, my pussy hurts. And I didn't say that out loud.
Oh goodness.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna leave it at that. I went too far with it. All right. So, guys, if you like the content, hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe. And remember, one more weekend release, and then we're back. We're back to weekly released. So, football season's here. Oh, we also got to give our breakdown for college real quick. We might do that next week. Give out who we think might make it to the 12-man playoff. So a little
Yeah.
bit. We'll do a quick cover. We won't do like our hour episode like we did last time. We'll just do a quick and dirty. This is my guys and this is your guys, and then we talk about the NFL. How about that?
Yeah, that'll work.